Hello everyone, hope everyone is doing well. Today we're going to talk about elasticity of supply. So we're going to see the definition of elasticity of supply and the uses. Elasticity of supply is similar to elasticity of demand because it's the only difference is instead of measuring how buyers respond to changes in price, elasticity of supply looks at how sellers respond to a change in price. So the definition is how does quantity supply respond to a change in price. Now, if we wanted to look at the formula of elasticity of supply, we would say elasticity of supply, which stands for ES, is going to be percentage change in quantity supplied divided by the percentage change in price. So in our case, if we wanted to draw an elasticity of supply, let's say we wanted to show it graphically. If this is my supply curve, let's say this is going to be price, this is quantity, and this is my supply curve. So if price goes up by 10%, and as a response to that, quantity supplied increases by 20%, then my elasticity of supply is going to be percentage change in quantity supplied, which is 20%, divided by percentage change in price, which is 10%, which will be equal to 2. Now, just like in elasticity of demand, we are going to use the midpoint method to calculate the elasticity of supply. If you need a refresher of the midpoint method, then look at my video for elasticity of demand, and the link is given down below. So let's look at an example. How would we find the elasticity of supply? Let's say my price went up from $5 to $15. And as a result of that, my quantity supplied went up from 20 to 50. Okay. So in order to find the elasticity of supply, we have to do the following. So the first step is find the midpoints. So midpoint of price, that's going to be basically that point between the point or the average between the prices of those two prices of the price ends. So let's say midpoint equals, it will be 15 plus 5 divided by 2, which is going to be 10. And then we also have to find the midpoint of the quantity. So QM will be 20 plus 50 divided by 2, which is going to be 70 divided by 2, or 35. So the first step is finding the midpoints. The second is we have to find the percentage changes of price and quantity respectively. So we will say, again, let's type that out. So percentage change in quantity supplied equals, so the change in quantity supplied will be the difference in those prices, so 50 minus 20. Here we don't really need the sign. The quantity elasticity is always going to be a positive number, because if price increases, quantity will increase. If price decreases, quantity will decrease. So the negative signs will cancel out each other, and if it's both are positive, then the elasticity will be positive. So 50 minus 20 divided by 35, which is the midpoint, times 100, which is equal to, as we see in it, 0.857. And then the next one would be percentage change in price, which is going to be 15 minus 5 divided by 10 times 100, which comes out to be actually 100%. Actually, this should be 85.7%. So then my elasticity value is going to be percentage change in quantity supplied divided by the percentage change in price. So the percentage change in quantity supplied is 85.7 divided by percentage change in price is 100. Need to put in the percents here. So it comes out to be equal to 0.857. And if I were to interpret it, how would I interpret it? I would say if price goes up by 1%, then quantity supplied will go up by 0.85%, or 0.857%. So this is telling us how do sellers respond to changes in quantity supply. Or how do sellers respond to changes in price? Now, after we find this, the main thing that elasticity of supply measures is the readiness of sellers. That is, how quickly can sellers adjust their production? So, how quickly can they adjust production? So, if there's a big demand coming up, or it's like suddenly the prices went up, how quickly can they adjust their productions to produce more of their product? Now, just like in demand, elasticity of demand, we had different types of elasticities. We had perfectly inelastic, we had inelastic, unit elastic, and then perfectly elastic and elastic demand. Here too, we have perfectly inelastic supply, where elasticity of supply equals 0. Then we have inelastic supply, where elasticity of supply is less than 1. Basically, it's between 0 and 1. And then we have unit elastic supply, where elasticity of supply equal to 1. Then we have elastic supply, where elasticity of supply is greater than 1. And then finally, we have perfectly elastic supply, which is elasticity of supply is basically undefined. So if we look at the shape, perfectly inelastic supply is going to be a vertical line. And so this is the supply curve is vertical. And this one, the perfectly elastic supply curve is horizontal. And the other ones basically are of different shapes. So all this, basically, if you have supply is vertical, so in that case, if this is my price and this is my quantity, the lines are a little jagged here. This is the supply curve. Here, no matter what the price change is, I cannot change my quantity supplied. It remains, let's say, at 100. So under this case, suppliers have no ability to adjust their production. So we have no ability to adjust production. So in that case, sellers have no capacity for increasing output. Inelastic supply would be a little different. It would be like kind of vertical like that. So there is some degree of ability of increasing production or decreasing production, but not by much. Unit elastic is a little more. Elastic supply would be a little more. And then finally, perfectly elastic supply would be a horizontal line. This means no matter what the price is, sellers can easily increase or decrease output. Okay, so that since it kind of follows what elasticity of demand is, I'm not going to go much deeper into this. If you have any other questions, you can ask me down in the comments below, or if you have any concerns or questions about any of these steps, you can go and watch my video on the elasticity of demand. I will give the link below. Well, hopefully this was helpful, and I will meet you at a later video. Goodbye.